Lights, camera, action.
There
we go. Got you in frame. I win. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm one half of pursuitParenting. I am the vast majority of the on-screen talent, tiny bit of various other parts, including editing and writing and directing, and then I do most of the social media for the channel.
Wait, in our eagerness to talk about pursuitParenting, we forgot to introduce me. Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm Pursuit Mom. I work behind the scenes doing things like editing and voiceover. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. And what was the name of that channel again?
It is pursuitParenting.
How'd you name it that?
So when my kids first started walking, I found that I kept following them at like 6 feet behind at a walking pace because they were walking very fast, but that was like, the kid wanted to walk and I wanted to stay safe, and so I was very close. And it reminded me of this article that I'd read about pursuit predation and persistence predation. Is the idea that humans successfully hunt by following their prey as long as possible, like as an endurance test. So these gazelles keep bouncing off and the humans follow at a walking pace and eventually catch up. And I felt like that was such a great encapsulation of my parenting philosophy that my job is not to be exhausted, it is to exhaust the kid.
Kind of like outsmarting your...
Outlast. There's a survivor vibe to it of like, outlast, endure, like, be present, be totally involved, but also create a lot of space for the kid within space, like within safe zones, and then let them tucker themselves out.
And why make videos?
I've been falling sideways in video content since like 7th grade. There's a fabulous movie that will never see the light of day because I deleted all the footage in 7th grade. It was called When Furbies Attack. Kimber,
When Furbies Attack?
When Furbies Attack. Kimber, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That was all my fault. I deleted the video. It was me.
What confessions on here?
I know, right? So I keep falling sideways into video content. Even my last job, I was doing more sort of edutainment videos was what we called them. And that, when I was like, okay, we have all this parenting, we're parenting really hard. We have all this parenting content. Let's turn it into something. Videos was a natural place for us to go.
What are your parenting credentials?
My kid has survived 2 years, which I feel like is, a real accomplishment. That first year is real scary. And 2 full years, I feel like we're, ready to get renewed for a 3rd season. It'll be great. I have a whole bunch of other childcare experience. I was a camp counselor and I was a pastor and did youth work and like a whole bunch of, basically starting at about 8 or 9 through end of high school. I have a ton of experience with kids, which means this whole infant and toddler thing has been fun and new.
Important question here. How pretty is your wife?
My wife is extremely pretty.
And what are her credentials?
My wife my wife knew that she wanted to be a mother when she was 17, 16. Like Before that even. Okay. My wife was solid on wanted to be a mom from a very, very young age that I will quiz her on later. And she knew that she wanted that. She did babysitting in high school. I think she might have done mother's helper in middle school. She did nannying in college, post-college, like whole bunch of work with, and her skill area is that like 6 months to like 6, 7, 8, like early elementary, like that's her sweet spot. So this has been like familiar territory for her, although being on 24/7 is new.
And will she be on camera?
Yes.
Will I be on camera?
Yes.
What?
You're gonna do it right now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hi. That is as much camera of my wife as you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
But she does a bunch of the VO. She's on the voiceover all the time.
Yeah, I have a voice. I have a kid. Will our kid be on camera?
No. Purely safety concerns. Just flat negative. Kid will not be on camera. But we have found really excellent. We've brought in some talent to do.
You are multifaceted talent.
I can't quite say I'm a professional actor, but I am an actor with great breadth and also depth.
And you're bald like a baby.
Exactly.
Bearded like a baby.
If I was allowed to shave.
Yeah, you're not allowed to shave.
Uh-huh.
Are you enjoying parenthood?
Yes. Everybody asks me this question, and every time I'm like, my kid is so cool, and parenting is so cool, and I keep learning to do new stuff, and I keep having these weird shower thoughts that I have nowhere to put, which is why we're doing this. Of like, wow, spoiler, we're going to do a video about how from a kid's perspective, the entire environment is destructible and everything is loot. Like, if the world were a video game to a toddler, the entire environment is interactable, and you can steal anything. You can just pick it up and put it in your inventory, and that is a problem.
Back to hunters and predation. Who's the hunter and who is the hunted in that scenario?
I mean, the kid is, because the goal is to teach the kid to be persistent, to be enduring, and like to transfer these skills that we're deploying on the kid to the kid. Like, that's the goal. So as toddler is becoming less baby and more toddler and soon more preschooler, like, we're watching the skills that we have deployed develop in interactions with the world, which is really cool. It's a lot of fun to see.
Do you have like a favorite moment here from fatherhood?
So many of them are repeats. Like it's a groove on a record. Like, we've gone over it so many times. So like this last summer, there were wild raspberries where we were, and for a month solid, every morning we would go out for a walk, and my kid would pick wild raspberries, and that was so much fun and such a great way for me to deploy my skills, and for the kid to get exercise, and for me to get exercise, and to give my wife a break, and like, it was such a wonderful confluence, and I think that's my favorite, like, repeating event, and I cannot wait for next summer when I can do more. Yobbies. Mo yobbies was the refrain. That was it, just mo yobbies.
And you mentioned some of your video credentials, some of your parenting credentials. What else are you and your amazing wife bringing to the table?
So my wife's background is in psychology and a little bit, and sociology.
This is a pop quiz.
Psych and social.
Yeah, and?
Childhood development? Like,
no, gender and sexuality
Gender and
studies.
sexuality studies. I'm not doing your college credentials.
I need you to read my resume off to the internet.
When we get to that, I have a degree in classics, and that is going to become relevant. So my wife's background is gender and sexuality, and also, but like especially psychology and sociology. And so she's done a whole bunch of early childhood psych and like how do brains work. She worked for a long time as a UX researcher, so she's very intent on like watching how people interact with things. So watching the kid interact, we're very aware of how is the toddler's user experience, which is a wonderful question to be asking. That was wife's credentials, but I feel like
what's husband's credentials?
For in general?
Yeah, what do you bring to the table?
Your
hoodie is giving away some of this punchline.
Yeah, I have like a lot of ADHD. Like, it's hard to quantify exactly how much ADHD it's possible to have, but like however much it's possible to have, I have a lot of it. I bring that energy and also all of the skills that I've learned my life long to parenting a child who, let's be real, toddler is a toddler. The odds that toddler has ADHD are real good. And I can almost see the beginnings of like a bunch of stuff that I picked up because I didn't know. I can head that off in the past and be like, no, your brain is doing this and it's treachery. Let me help you. So that's a big chunk. I have a gigantic nerd background, both in terms of board games and video games and TV and all that stuff, and also professional proficiency in both Latin and ancient Greek.
The most essential parenting skills.
You know what? So, the most essential parenting skills, I'm also an ordained Presbyterian pastor, and all of that, like, philosophy and theology and spirituality and management and all the things that go into the pastorate, all of that is coming too. That is a huge part of my story, and it's an essential part of where we're at now.
Yeah, I think, and you find a lot of joy in going one step meta in analyzing.
Yeah. No, I'm constantly building meta narratives, and all of my Buddhist friends will tell me stop making narratives about the world. But I am always seeing the story behind the story. Can't turn it off.
Theater major seems like it might also help with that mindset as well.
Absolutely.
Is our baby crying?
Our baby is currently crying because no nap. We tried.
Lots of big emotions.
Lots of big feelings. Our baby is squealing at us when we try to do things on behalf. Like, I'm going to take off your shoes.
Myself.
Yeah. But not even getting that far, just like, ah! That's another thing I'm enjoying as a dad. It's just like, oh, you have so many big feelings. I'm here with your big feelings.
You're a big softie. All right, in pursuit of a quieter household, let's wrap this up.
Yep.
And see you in the next video.
See you next vid.